Hey y'all, it's Auntie O here, aka Olive, aka Olivia. However you know me, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And I wanted to let y'all know that the Painted Raven in Elgin, Texas is hosting a witches summer solstice market. It is on June 22nd. This is year 2024 on the planet Earth in Elgin, Texas. Yeah, you heard right. Anyway, yes, I'm being silly. I'm going to be silly with my voice. I'm practicing reading, getting it warmed up, but also welcoming you guys here back to my channel as I get going again. So this is really different than what we've been doing. I'm going to read from this book that was a gift to me from the author. Dawn Shepard, the author, gave me permission to read this book on my channel. And since many of you in the past have said that you really just kind of like having something on, this is something that's nice to listen to. It's a really, I'll just read you the title, Soft Landing. Everything is connected. How to resume our roles as responsible members of the community of life. So, let's just go ahead and get started. And, yeah, I'm just using my phone, so, like, I don't have... Anyway, give me, any critique or guidance that you like. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And let's just start at the very beginning, And by that I mean we just read the title. We're going to skip the title page because it's exactly the same. Let me see if I can focus that a little bit. But you're not going to see everything on camera. But I will read everything. For John Paul and also for every other member of the community of life. Published by Save the World, Inc. Then there's the website www.savetheworldline.com. I'll put that in the description of this video. Contact Dawn at savetheworldinc.com. Copyright 2020, Dawn Shepard. All rights reserved. May cite text with proper attribution. ISBN for paperback version 978-0-578-77400-8. I will be putting timestamps in the description or just in the video so that you can skip ahead to the table of contents or to the first chapter of the book, or however you want to do this, if you want to skip around, as much as I have on the video at least. So to continue, I guess this is going to be an annotated book, as I am finding that I am annotating the book. Okay, so I'm going to have a little sip of water. I won't get back to it. Okay, let's see. ISBN for ebook 978-163649787-7. Book cover and website design by Will Alkin. Editing by Catherine Rose Lee. Soft Landing, how to resume our roles as responsible members of the community of life. Preface. Introduction 1. Part 1. How things came to be this way. Chapter 1, The Great Forgetting, page 22. Chapter 2, How Things Came to Be This Way, page 31. Chapter 3, Tribal Living, page 53. Part 2, Our World of Today. Chapter 4, The Outlaw's World, page 66. Chapter 5, God Will Judge Us, page 75. Chapter 6, We Have Big Problems, page 85. Chapter 7, Our Corporate Rulers, page 225. Part 3, Soft Landing. Chapter 8, We Are Not Humanity, 317. Chapter 9, Outlaws No More, page 323. Chapter 10, A New Human Consciousness, page 329. Chapter 11, Changing Minds, 337. Chapter 12, A Soft Landing, 355. Afterward. Recommended reading list. Epilogue, Save the World, Inc., Acknowledgements, and About the Author. Preface. If you have not already done so, there's another book I want you to read. It is Ishmael, An Adventure of the Mind and Spirit by Danielle Quinn. Ishmael is a very important book, and it has been very important to me personally. I know that is an odd way to begin my own book. The reason is I derive a lot of important new information from Ishmael, information that provides the very basis for soft landing. But here's the thing. You can wait to read Ishmael until you have finished reading Soft Landing. Trust me on this. In terms of how it relates to what I am saying in Soft Landing, I will tell you what you need to know about Ishmael in the introduction and in chapters 1 and 2. After that, you will not see so many references to Ishmael. Don Shepard. Introduction. 25 years ago, I read a novel that began with the narrator reading a newspaper ad. Teacher seeking pupil must have an earnest desire to save the world. The novel was Ishmael, An Adventure of the Mind and Spirit by Danielle Quinn. I read it, and then I read it again, and then I read it again. For me, the message conveyed through the story in the novel was fantastic news. It appeared to me that all that was necessary in order to save the world was for enough people to read Ishmael. Over the next 6 or 8 months, I gave away probably 40 copies of Ishmael. I gave them to all of my friends and to anyone I met who showed the slightest interest in what I was so excited about. Then the results started coming in. Sorry, Dawn. I just couldn't get into it. And here's your book back, Dawn. I tried to read it several times, but the telepathic gorilla just didn't interest me. Of the 40 or more people I gave the books to, few even read it. And those who did read it, only a handful understood its message, as I did. I couldn't believe it. The explanation for how things came to be this way, and even if told by a telepathic gorilla, was clear and succinct. The book had won awards, including the $500,000 Turner Tomorrow Award given by Ted Turner for the work of fiction, judged to be the most influential in helping to save the planet. Of course, there were thousands of people who understood and appreciated it, apparently, though there were not very many from my particular group of friends. It was a terrible blow. I was forced to admit that saving the world was not going to be as easy as I had naively thought it would be. Upon reflection, I realized that many of my friends were in the oil and gas exploration business as I was, a fact that was certainly a big factor with the lack of success in people getting it. Most of my friends, even those who were not in the oil business, were relatively affluent. They were completely invested in our culture and totally unwilling to question whether or not our culture might be doomed to failure. Most of them had gone to college, graduated, were in the process of carving out their little piece of the pie. They had worked hard, they had done what they were supposed to in order to be successful, and now they were ready to reap their financial rewards and enjoy the security that came with their success. According to their reaction to Ishmael, they were most certainly not willing to consider that our culture was fatally flawed at its most basic level. Apparently, they had invested way too heavily in making this culture work for them, and they were not willing to just give up on it. And especially, they were not willing to help bring an end to it. Eventually, I came to realize another reason many people did not understand Ishmael was they were not accustomed to thinking for themselves, at least not about the big questions. For those, they prefer to depend on the experts being the recognized governmental and religious leaders. This unwillingness on the part of many of us to think for ourselves about the big questions is a huge problem. The result is that the rich and powerful get to answer those questions on our behalf, which is really not a good idea. Hopefully, soft landing will help many of us begin to fix this terrible situation. Many of those big questions that each of us as individuals need to start tackling instead of abdicating are going to be addressed herein. If you are the one who up to this point has been abdicating instead of thinking, I encourage you to be brave and read on. Your bravery may ultimately provide a big contribution to helping save our world from devastation. At the very least, you will find your own life to have been enriched by the process of beginning to think a little bit more for yourself. Despite my frustrations with having shared Ishmael with so many people who didn't appreciate it, I remain extremely grateful for the truths that I learned within those pages. In my own case, the result of my finding out the truth about our culture, I lost my place. And since I'm kind of at a stopping point, I'm going to take the fan out of the window, or close the window because of it. Well, I guess I can go ahead and be at a stopping point on page 3. I'll come back to it in a different video. But we can well, anyway, thanks for being here. I hope that was a good start. I hope you'll consider coming to the Witches Market, or consider being a vendor at the Witches Market. Go to the Painted Raven website, the Painted Raven in Elgin, Texas. This is for the 2024 Summer Solstice Witches Market. All right, thanks guys. Take care.